Burner ahead in front. Instinct Doro comes through along the rail, and Western Power is just outside of them. Mr. Leisure asked for a bit more in the early stages, 3 lengths off the lead. Eligio is next, 2 clear of Supreme Coast, and Street Talker at the back. Heavily favored Vegas Burner goes to the 3/8 pole, in charge by 3/4 of a length. Western Power is in second. 2 more lengths. Instinct Doro is losing some ground in third. Street Talker making a 4-wide bid, moving all the way up to be a joint third outside of Eligio. And behind them, Mr. Leisure, 5 in front of Supreme Coast. Vegas Burner turns for home, shrugging off Western Power, and now leads it by 4 lengths with 1/8 of a mile to run. Mr. Leisure trying to re-rally in between horses, center of the track, Street Talker and Eligio, but they are all battling for second as Vegas Burner has beaten them down. Vegas Burner, all alone, wins by 9 lengths. Mr. Leisure, Eligio, Instinct Doro, and Western Power. They're in the gate. And they're off. Please Focus and Belly Up both out quickly, joined by 49er Gold. And down at the rail, here's Devil Among Us. And Devil Among Us flies through to battle for command. McGregor Lake is 5th, 3 lengths off the lead. The 2 trailers Grazed and Bronco Nagurski. 3 of them battle it out up top. It's Devil Among Us, 49er Gold, and Please Focus across the course. 2 lengths back, McGregor Lake and Belly Up are right together, and they're followed by Grazed, the Gray, just 3 lengths off the lead. It's a gap of 5 now to Bronco Nagurski. Devil Among Us steadies around the turn and drops out of it as Please Focus goes on. Leads it over 49er Gold in second. McGregor Lake angles to the 3-path in third. Behind them, Grazed and Belly Up. Bronco Nagurski starting to rally widest of all there at the top of the stretch. Please Focus. McGregor Lake comes to him in second. 3 lengths back. Grazed is trying his best in third. And Bronco Nagurski, 16th pole. McGregor Lake up to take the lead. But now here's Grazed. And Grazed flies through the lane to overwhelm the competition. That's 2 for Rispoli. McGregor Lake second. Bronco Nagurski eventually straightened out and finished well. And then it was 49er Gold and Belly Up battling out the minors. Pick 6, scratch number 5, Betty Pack. Post time in 25 minutes. We're in the gate. And they're off. Castagna, Dixie Blaze both have early speed. Here's Ace Baby with the blue blinkers, and Danita Rose is close up third now, just a length and a half off the lead. Dixie Blaze now races in fourth as the duel is between Ace Baby and Castagna up top. Down at the rail, Nancy Griffith is racing in fifth. They're followed between rivals by Blazing Bardot, and a 4 wide Miss Moab is next. Another couple back to High Flying Gracie, Spicy Spouse, and 3 to Spicy Ride. 3 furlongs out, Ace Baby, Castagna dueling on the front end. Danita Rose 3 off them in third. Then it's Blazing Bardot racing on the inside. Miss Moab in the lime green takes fourth. 2 more back to Nancy Griffith there at the top of the stretch. And Danita Rose is making a 3-wide bid. Miss Moab in the center of the track has good momentum too. Down at the rail, Nancy Griffith all coming after Ace Baby, who's under siege. And Miss Moab surges to the front inside the 8th pole. It's Miss Moab and Danita Rose. Miss Moab's in front, pulling away late, and it's going to be Miss Moab to win it by 2. Danita Rose second, Blazing Bardot third in front of Nancy Griffith, and High Flying Gracie finished nicely 5th. At San Manuel is your destination for gaming excitement. Yamava is the closest resort and casino to Santa Anita Park. Experience world-class gaming, dining, and entertainment. In the gate. And they're off. Fast start for Pinehurst. Uncle Reg is up close in the early stages. Adebayo moving up. Quintessence in between those two. They're followed by Bowtie Boys, who's a close-up fourth now, just in front of Uncle Reg, who settles fifth. At the back of the field are Good at Being Bad, who was just passed by Rostovsky, and Gaelic Nation trails. It's Adebayo passing the half-mile pole, ahead in front, pressed by Quintessence. Behind them, Bowtie Boys at the rail. Uncle Reg in between, and Pinehurst 3 deep, a length and a half off the leaders. It's another 3 lengths back, Gaelic Nation on the outside of Rostovsky. This whole group covered by less than 4, and it's a distance to Good at Being Bad. Quarter of a mile to go. Quintessence is head in front of Adebayo. Pinehurst outside of them. Uncle Reg is next. Gaelic Nation continues to make some progress. And down at the rail, Bowtie Boys, there's an eighth of a mile to go. And it's Quintessence and Pinehurst head in head. Uncle Reg clear sailing coming after them now as Pinehurst takes the lead. On the outside, Uncle Reg and Quintessence. Pinehurst wins it. Second goes to Uncle Reg. Rostovsky was flying late in his debut in between rivals. And then it's a battle among Adebayo, Quintessence, and Gaelic Nation. Dana, Broadway Unions. And they're off. Even start. Fame is the quickest out of the gate. Here's Corso's Pick coming through along the inside to vie for command. Legitify is in the mix too, and it's a pretty big scramble for early supremacy, including Broadway Unions on the far outside. Down the back stretch, and there are 4 across the track now. The orange cap of Prosper is up to take the lead. Fight with Honor moves up on the outside, and Parenting down at the rail. Parenting now goes on with it without being asked to do so. Behind them, Corso's Pick is losing some ground now. In behind them, we have Santa Reina under aggressive handling, 4 lengths off the lead. It's another 3 to Fame, who races on the outside of Legitify. A couple of more lengths back to Middleburg as they straighten up for home. And the lead belongs to Parenting, who hugs the rail and goes on. Prosper 2 back in second. Santa Reina, Fame on the outside of Fight with Honor. Factory Drive picking up some late pieces down at the rail, but it's all Parenting, the son of Justify, speedy and sharp, scores by 3 at first asking. Santa Reina was second. Then it was Fame in third, and a battle for fourth included both Factory Drive and Fausto, who caught the eye with a late rally. Lynn. And they're off. A bad stumble for Leisure Wear at the back of the field. A quick start for Lunar Impact, joined by Speed Lane. Those two ensure a quick early tempo. 30 Carats inches up on the outside of Kitty Katana. Paris Secret next, followed by Your One there. It's then a gap of 3 lengths to the 2 trailers. Customer List and Leisure Wear, after that very tough start, is more than 10 lengths off the lead. And that lead is held by Speed Lane, opening up almost 4 lengths. Lunar Impact tracks comfortably and nicely in second. They're followed by Kitty Katana, a joint third, passed on the outside by 30 Carats. 3 more lengths, Your One there, racing next to Paris Secret, 2 more to Customer List and Leisure Wear. They have a half mile left to go, and it's Speed Lane, still clear by 4. Lunar Impact second, 3 clear of 30 Carats, Kitty Katana at the rail. Then Paris Secret, Your One there, 5 back to Customer List and Leisure Wear. Speed Lane still in front, the lead down to 2, as Lunar Impact closing in from second. On the outside, 30 carats, inches, a closer third. Your one there moves up. Kitty Katana is down on the inside. They're followed by Paris Secret and Customer List. They're at the top of the stretch. And Lunar Impact blows by Speed Lane with an eighth to go. Kitty Katana, your one there finishing nicely into second, a 16th to go. And Lunar Impact with a 3-length lead. Your one there is really finishing, but cannot get to Lunar Impact, who scores with a perfect trip under Frankie Dettori. Your one there meant business second. Then Kitty Katana, leisure wear, and it's a photo for fifth. Sugarfish completes the lineup. And they're off. Gila and Fayette Fox will vie for the early lead. Zerat behind them with Lisa's No-No, Indy Star, and Sugarfish. They move into the first turn, and the lead belongs to Fayette Fox, in front by a length and a half. As Lisa's No-No moves between rivals to take second, Gila third, a length and a half off the lead. Then it's Indy Star with Sugarfish in fifth, and two more to Zerat. Onto the backstretch, Fayette Fox, a length and a half. Lisa's No-No races in second, and then Gila in the clear while third. At the rail, Indy Star inching closer in fourth, 2.5 off the pacemaker. Sugarfish is comfortable, but in between rivals, and another 3 to Zerat. They have a half mile to run. Fayette Fox to catch, 3 parts of a length to Lisa's No-No in second. Then Sugarfish in between horses. Indy Star is down at the rail. Gila outside of them. Nothing yet from Zerat. Less than 3/8 to travel. It's Fayette Fox, pressed by Lisa's No-No. Sugarfish emerges out of that pack to be a clear-cut third. Then Indy Star and Gila, a quarter of a mile to go. Lisa's No-No and Fayette Fox right together. Sugarfish angles out with the orange colors and is starting to close some ground in third. They're in the final furlong, and Sugarfish gaining momentum steadily on the top pair. Lisa's No-No, Sugarfish, Sugarfish right to her. Sugarfish, Lisa's No-No come for the wire together. It's going to be close. Here is the line. Sugarfish got there, barely denying Lisa's No-No. Fayette Fox and Gila. And they're off. Baldoro broke outward, but did break alertly. Zafiro Anejo comes to take the lead. Tracker is in between them. And in the center of the course, here is Precision Strike. So Precision Strike takes the lead. Baldoro going with him. The pace lively early on. Zafiro Anejo is in third. Goodfella hugs the rail, a joint fourth. Passed now by Tracker, who's 7 lengths off the lead. Then it's 6 Magpies just behind that pair. Here comes Georgie Boy is next in wrong direction, and it's a distance to Zidane. Onto the backstretch. Baldoro takes the lead. 3/4 of a length. Precision Strike settles well under a nice hold second. Then it's Zafiro Anejo on the outside of Goodfella. Those two head and head with 6 Magpies and Tracker also racing as a team. Then it's Here Come Georgie Boy, wrong direction, and a long, long way to Zidane. Baldoro leads it by a length, rounding the far turn. Precision Strike, Zafiro Anejo in third. Goodfella fourth, 6 Magpies getting into it fifth, just 4 lengths off the lead. Gaining some momentum, will go to the far outside. 3 lengths back to Tracker. They're at the top of the stretch. Baldoro digs in, confronted by Precision Strike. They're head and head. Goodfella coming through to the rail, and another 3 lengths back to 6 Magpies in fourth. It's still open. 6 Magpies is finishing with a flourish on the outside as Goodfella comes through to take the lead. Goodfella, 6 Magpies, runs them all down. Goodfella was second. Photo between Baldoro and Precision Strike. Behind them, it was between Tracker and Wrong Direction.
If you're familiar with the stock market, there's terms used like bullish or bearish. And bearish basically means you don't really think the stock market is going to increase in value. But if you're bullish, then certainly you think that the stock market will increase. And our seminar guest today, he is very bullish on Southern California racing. As a matter of fact, he goes around the world to find horses to run here at San Anita and Del Mar. We should all be thanking him for his investment in time in the industry and in the sport. His name, Tim Cohen. Tim, welcome to the seminar.
Thank you very much. Hey, appreciate it.
It's great to have you here. Long overdue, that's for sure. Now, you're the head honcho at Rancho Temescal, which obviously has a number of winning runners lately. Had a great weekend last weekend. You have some runners today, both here at San Anita as well up north at Golden Gate. Where'd your passion for the game all begin? How did it start?
Oh, my God. So my dad, I think maybe when I was 6 months old, brought me to the races. And
you were hooked ever since.
Hooked ever since. He raced for 60 years here in Southern California, Red Baron's Barn. And
back in the day,
I remember coming here.
Memories of those?
Oh yeah, I remember. Watching Vigors, and 45,000 people here every weekend, and you had to get here early and picking tickets up off the floor and seeing if I could find some winners. And it was and the sandwiches and everything. It was a great childhood, great time to be at racing.
Now, why'd you stay in the industry? You didn't have to stay in the industry, but you decided to do so. What went into that decision?
Well, about 20 years ago, we bought a farm in Ventura County. It's Rancho Temescal, and we have a great boarding facility, about 150 acres dedicated to the horses. We farm avocados, lemons. We do a little bit of TV and movie production work. Wow. So it's a pretty diverse agricultural operation.
Some equines in the mix as well.
That is the most fun of the whole deal. Nobody likes fun. No, it's not fun watching an avocado grow.
I mentioned you go all around the world trying to find horses. And just within the last couple of weeks, you were at Newmarket, England, watching a breeze up show or sale for 2-year-olds. What was that experience like? You've been there many times. What's it like?
Yeah, I really enjoy Tattersall's, the UK. I think the value in purchasing horses is still as Europe. I think I read an article, Phil D'Amato said that's how he started out because that's where the value was. It still is. And so this is the second year that we purchased out of the breeze up. We purchased Star of the Night, Dandy Man Shines, out of the sale 2 years ago.
Dandy Man Shines running tomorrow.
Yep. And all the horses have done well. Star of the Night, she'll be coming back in Del Mar. And so we went there again. We got a beautiful Havana Gray filly. Very excited about her. She'll probably make one start in England and make it over here for the Ship and Win in Del Mar.
What's the difference in terms of the way they train over there, Tim, compared to the United States? Just in my mind, I have a vision that is very much pastoral, very much laid back, not as much pressure being put on the horses like we have here in the United States.
Completely. Their breeze ups are, they're not timed publicly, so there's not a public time, but everybody privately clocks them. But the gallops that they have, it's, as you said, rather pastoral there. There's forest that they're going through, the heath at Newmarket, which is basically they finish about an eighth of a mile uphill at about a 4% grade. Wide open, very well balanced. We're making left turns here all the time. They're going straight. Probably why you see horses having trouble switching leads when they come from Europe to the US is because they're just not, they're used to going straight. And so they have a little bit of difficulty with that. But, it's just a beautiful environment to grow a horse.
We've spent 5 minutes. We haven't even talked about Dr. Shivel.
Oh, yes.
What's he up to? He's off the racetrack, but I understand he's doing pretty well as a stallion.
He is. He's probably approaching his highest buyer in mares. So he's up to about 110. He's TaylorMade.
And in Kentucky.
He's staying in Kentucky with TaylorMade. He's got about 120 mares booked to him, running about 84% fertility rate, which is extremely high. So everything's going great for him.
How did he lose that photo at Del Mar in the Breeders' Cup Sprint? I hate to bring up sad bad news, but yeah. I could have swore he won that race live and even on the replay.
It's funny because I'm usually rather reserved, and I wasn't at that time. And I told my dad, he was 87, 86 at the time. I'm like, we did it. And he just sat there and he just shook his head at me. And I'm like, no, we did it. And he's like, nope, shook his head. And I'm like, no, we did it. And I'm like, oh shit, we didn't do it.
No substitute for experience. He had a lot more experience.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that was a heartbreaker.
That was. I felt bad for the horse, just because he didn't see Aloha West coming. I think if he had seen him, would another story. But you win that way and you lose that way.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but I think you're on the board of directors for the TOC, Thoroughbred Owners of California.
I am.
And I talked about how bullish you are in terms of supporting Southern California racing. Obviously, we face a lot of challenges. Why are you so bullish on Southern California racing when you certainly have plenty of other options around the country?
Well, I think it's still the grass racing out here, which is our forte. We can run year round
With good weather.
With good weather, good people. That's 3/4 of this business is working with good people. Certainly, the horses are significant, but we have a good group of trainers that we work with. Our farm is here, so we maintain total control of the health of the horse, and it's easier for us to operate in a unique way out here.
And the ship and win bonuses, both that we offer here at Sandy and Del Mar, certainly prove to be lucrative if you can capitalize on the success of some of your imports.
Yeah, they do. We've started a new partnership, and that's a significant part of the business model.
Let's talk about the partnership. It's something new that you guys have launched within the last year or so. Talk to the people that are watching, maybe how they can get involved, the kind of what's the concept behind the partnership.
Yeah, well, so basically for the last 25 years, I've raced only with my dad, and people would come up and say, "Hey, we'd love to own a part of a horse."
I see
We'd
in the
love to
winner
do that.
circle all the time,
Yeah,
especially last week.
and
They want to share in the
yeah, and my dad was always, "Let's keep it simple. No other people. It's easier," which is correct. And so when he passed, I'm saying, "Okay, fine, let's do it." Now's an opportunity to kind of share the program that we have with other people. It's not a huge partnership in the sense of we have multiple horses with multiple ownerships. Our program is unique. You buy a share of the company, and the company buys the horse.
Sure.
So it's one check. We anticipate what the capital cost for acquisition is. We anticipate what the training bills forecast, the income.
But you take the risk primarily, just thinking out loud.
Well, we all
You
take the
set
risk.
a price.
Yeah, we all take the risk. Well, it's in the sense our money's in as well.
Sure.
But we're a shareholder in the company just like everybody else. So our risk is the same as everyone else's.
Tim Cohen has 3 runners on today's card, including an additional one up at Golden Gate in the Grade 3 San Francisco Mile. We're going to find out who Tim likes on today's excellent 11 race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place, where the track is fast and the turf course is firm. The rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the early changes. There are no changes in the first race. In the second, number 5, Eagles Dare carries 2 pounds over. Race 3 has a blinker note and nothing else. Fourth is the Kona Gold Stakes. Scratches or jockey changes. The middle pick 4 is offered today on races 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are no changes. In the 6th, the start of the pick 6, scratch 1, Johnny Drama. In the 7th race, the all-turf pick 3 starts, $3 wager, races 7, 9, 11. Late pick 5 as well. No scratches or jockey changes. Same story in race 8. The 9th race is the Grade 3 Royal Heroine Stakes. There are no changes. 10th race starts the Golden Hour pick 4, scratch the also eligibles 11 and 12. And in the 11th race, scratch number 7, Criticism, Golden Hour double, begins with race 11. Family fun activities in the infield every Saturday and Sunday. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. Post time for the openers in 59 minutes at 1 p.m. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is Tim Cohen.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Tim Cohen. He's the head honcho at Rancho Temescal. It's our pleasure to have him on the seminar today. He's heavily involved in the industry, both from an intellectual standpoint as well as a financial standpoint. You've done the homework here, Tim. I know you've looked at all 11 races. We value your opinion. So let's kick it off in race number 1, which offers the popular 50-cent early pick 5. We're going a mile and an eighth on the turf course. The turf rails today are at 0 feet. This is a starter optional claiming race. We've got a field of 8. The morning line choice and the current betting choice at even money is number 5, Caribbean King from the Steve Knapp barn. Give us your thoughts on race 1.
Well, I think Caribbean King makes sense. It's his second start versus winners. However, I'm a little more partial to the 3-horse. I think they got him eligible for the starter allowance at Los Al, kind of coyly right off the break. And, he won a maiden special weight last out. Bert's Prospect, who finished third to him, came back as a winner.
Yeah.
So without a whole lot of speed in there, I think maybe the 3 has a little bit of a chance. I like them both. I like the 3 and the 5. That would be my exacta box. But I think coming off the maiden special win is significant versus others who are getting into this condition off a maiden 50 win.
Tim, Hot Legs Romolo is owned by Dr. Redham, and of course, Dr. Redham is a very successful business person. As part of the TOC, do you kind of pick others' owners' brains? Obviously, they've had success in other businesses. The thoroughbred industry is very different, but Dr. Redham's one of many prominent owners. Samantha Siegel would be another one that comes to mind. Do you kind of pick their brain to try and improve our industry?
Certainly for the industry. On horses, I think everybody keeps a little close to the best.
Of course. I'm talking more about the industry.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're it's no secret California's in trouble. And the only way that we're going to bring it out is if we can get everybody together on a single page and try and move forward. It's very hard to do. Very hard to do. I was on the board of the CTBA. I'm on the TOC. I'm on the TOBA, and it's a struggle. We have to get creative. And hopefully we can get everybody to do that.
Got the right people in place, that's for sure. Tim's top selection race number 1, Hot Legs Romolo, currently on the tote board at 6-1. Let's turn the page, Tim. Take a look at race number 2. Begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weight Calabreds. We've got a field of 6. One of the oldest horse in the field, a 5-year-old first-time starter. Number 1, our Bucky Charm from the Red Hot Mark Piper barn, is the 6-5 morning line favorite, according to John White. What's race 2 according to Tim Cohen?
I don't really disagree with John. I think he has the appropriate line there. I had a chance to look at some of the works. Smoke 'em if you got them. It was a very expensive Smoke 'em, selling for $85,000. I thought his knee action was a little high. I think grass may be in his future. He broke slowly on the work on April 12th. Had to be hustled up a little bit to get there. I don't like the rail on any first-time starter, so that's usually a killer for me. But I thought the work with our Bucky Charm was pretty nice. He has a little bit of a high knee action too, not nearly as bad. So I think you'll see both of them on the turf in the future. But at this point, I'd probably go with the 1-horse, our Bucky Charm.
Inside and outside, 1 and 6 for our seminar guest, Tim Cohen. Tim, a question for you. You talked about how you looked at the workouts. What a great feature XBTV.com has, right? It's absolutely free of charge. Obviously, that's another investment that First Bet and First Racing has made, allowing handicappers to watch workouts, not only on first-time starters, but imports, layoff horses. It's a tremendous resource that we didn't have, say, 10 years ago.
Oh, definitely. I think it for those that use that service and have the time, it's exponential in reward.
Let's take a look at race number 3. Race number 3, we're going 1 mile on the turf course. This is an allowance optional claiming race for Calbred, 3-year-old fillies, non-winners of 1 other than. A field of 7, number 5, Safa, who always fires but is a bit camera shy, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. Give us your thoughts on race 3, Tim.
I think Safa coming off the evening jewel, nice performance. It'd be awfully tough to beat in here. Sneaker, first time against winners, usually something I try and stay away from, but I kind of see like a 5-6 result there.
Fair enough. Before we look at race 4, Tim, a question for you. You talked about how you emphasize or at least focus on turf racing in Southern California. What's the methodology or the mindset behind that? In other words, why focus on turf? Why not have a more balanced portfolio?
I think, again, it comes to economics and value. I find more value in a turf horse. The door horses we're all buying in the same marketplace, all in the U.S. There's some significant investment in California for 2-year-old maidens, and unless you're playing at that level, it's hard to beat them. So I'm kind of like the path of least resistance. The turf provides value. We get to run year-round basically here, and I think it's a great little niche for us.
And excuse me for not knowing, but Dr. Schivel, who's now at Stallion, do you stand him as stud, or did you sell him to TaylorMade or someone else?
We sold him to TaylorMade, and we retained a small piece of him.
Nice.
And just so proud of him and looking forward to his babies.
Do you get to go back to Kentucky much, either for the Kentucky Derby or other events, and maybe visit some of?
Yeah, I'll go back about once or twice a year, take a look at some more horses out there, and just, I mean, it's a beautiful place and it's horse country, so you got to spend time there.
I'll test your memory. We talked about Red Barons kind of being the anchor of what you're currently doing. Give us a few names from yesteryear of some of the more successful Red Baron runners that we might recognize.
Oh, goodness. Janet was one of our first European horses that came over and won a Grade 1.
With Daryl Vienna?
With Daryl Vienna. Montemiro won the Hollywood Turf Cup, I think, at like 80 to 1 or 60 to 1. Just a good group of Kingslayer was always fun. He was down the hill specialist. Just a lot of fun.
Frank Miramati, our track announcer, knows every single.
Oh yes, Frank does.
He's got a photographic memory.
Yeah.
Those of us who don't remember, I know that we can rely on him to kind of recollect our memories.
I love Frank. He's a great guy, great memory, great ambassador all the way around.
No doubt about it. You told me the history or the story behind Red Barons and the name of how it developed and how your dad kind of created that stable name. Can you share that with our audience?
Yeah, sure. So my dad grew up on the East Coast and knew a lot of the East Coast guys, and Wilt Chamberlain. He loved the hockey, he loved the basketball, and so Wilt Chamberlain and a bunch of guys bought a steakhouse in Beverly Hills.
Wilt Chamberlain was a regular visitor at Hollywood Park. I'd see him sitting in the box seat section. He didn't have his legs spread so far out; he'd occupy the whole box.
And oddly, a very good volleyball player.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah,
he lived down the beach.
Yep.
He lived down the beach in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, and so a very good volleyball player. So they bought a steakhouse, a bunch of the athletes, and it was called Red Baron Steakhouse in Beverly Hills, and in PPs of everyone else that's an athlete that buys a steakhouse, it failed rather quickly. Yeah, so they gave him a piece of it as a token of appreciation for what he did. And so when that failed, he just took the Red Baron and turned it into Red Baron's Barn.
Racing such a beautiful game, and it's amazing the stories that you can learn on a daily basis. Race number 4 is the first of 2 stakes races on the card. It's named in honor of Kona Gold. It's a $100,000 guaranteed purse for runners sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. We've got a field of 7. One of the supplements, or the only supplement I should say, is the morning line favorite at 4 to 5, the Calbred, the Chosen Vron. What a cool horse he is, Tim. Wouldn't you like to own him? All he does is collect paychecks and bring his owners to the winner's circle. He is 16 for 21 lifetime. He's beaten open company before. He's just kind of like a throwback, right, to the John Henry days.
You just love horses like this. I mean, he beat Dr. Shivel in the sprint, and you just don't feel bad getting beaten by a horse like this. You're like, it's an honor. He's a beast.
And credit to Eric Kruljack for keeping him sound, keeping him in racing shape, top condition. Fantastic. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
No, and he called an audible here, and he put the horse in, and he has to know what's right for the horse. And
it's a sign of confidence. They supplemented into the race. Now, there are some talented runners in here, including Forbidden Kingdom and Express Train, whose distance this might not be his best distance, but is it a slam dunk for the Chosen Vron?
No, I think Forbidden Kingdom is going to hit the lead. Question is how long Hector lets him go.
Sure.
And what kind of horse he has underneath him. And so my guess is it's a 4-1 straight exacta here, and that might be the value in the bet, but you might get 2 and 2.5, 3 to 1 on that.
You mentioned the exacta. We've been talking about handicapping, Tim, but not much wagering. What type of wagerer are you? In other words, do you kind of play the pick 5, pick 6? Are you good old-fashioned win bet? Do you not bet that often? Like I'm sure you step up to the window, but like what's your preference?
I'll go with a double. For me to pick 3 in a row is odd.
For a lot of people, don't feel bad.
So I kind of stick where I think I might be able to have some success. And I mean, certainly the purses, you can't win any more than you're doing in a purse. I'm not a huge gambler, but I do like to bet every race.
For sure, and so do we. That's for sure. Race number 5 begins a 50-cent middle pick 4 on race cards that offer 10 or more races. San Anita offers a 50-cent middle pick 4, and we kick things off in race number 5, going 1 mile the turf course. It's a starter allowance race. We've got a field of 8. Morning line favorite number 2, Anmer Hall from the Steve Knapp barn. Steve Knapp might have a big day. Talk to us about race 5, Tim.
Yeah, I'm kind of with the morning line there. I think Anmer Hall, 2 good races since the break. She was off in June of 23, came back February and March. 3rd race, a lot of times is a horse's peak run. I'm kind of on the 5 horse here a little bit. 3 Brothers as a little bit of a sleeper. The last ran on a starter allowance up at Golden Gate, and those races can be kind of salty, surprisingly.
Winner came back to win.
And so I don't think that's such a bad play there. Maybe depending on how the odds go, if Anmer Hall just kind of bottoms out 6 to 5, 7 to 5, I'd probably put a little bit of money on the 5.
Fair enough. 3 Brothers, the 5 in race number 5, 10 to 1 on the morning line, certainly representing value. Question for you, Tim, before we take a look at race number 6. How do you maintain an even keel as an owner? I don't know that much about ownership, but I have a lot of friends who are owners. And the stories they tell me in terms of the peaks and valleys kind of blow your mind from an imagination standpoint. If something can go wrong, it's likely to go wrong. And that's got to be devastating sometimes because you put in time, energy, and money to get these horses to the racetrack. As handicappers, we just see them pop up in the racing form. We don't know about the behind the scenes story. But how do you maintain that even keel? Obviously, there's the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. How do you kind of just maintain that straight line?
Yeah, I think it's a cognitive choice because otherwise you would just go nuts.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're fortunate that we've got enough runners that keep us active. We're very proactive in taking our horses off the track so that they can come back. Our philosophy is never to.
They'll pay you back if you
They'll
invest
pay
the
you
time
back.
in them.
Yeah, and if they don't, it's the right thing to do for the
Sure,
horse, and
sure.
that's really the main concern. So I think it's just the mindset of, look, things will go wrong, and when they go right, that's great. Expect bad, and when you get good, you're just it's a good day.
And let's talk about aftercare for a minute because it seems like you're passionate about that. That's become a hot button topic within the industry the last couple of years, rightfully so, because it was certainly a topic that wasn't addressed or put at the forefront. It's a very important that an owner owns a horses throughout their entire life, not just during their racing career, or at least is responsible for the horse throughout their life.
Exactly. We've actually partnered with Fresh Start Sport Horses that rehabilitates off the track thoroughbreds.
And there's some great stories.
Yeah, and they're actually located at our farm. We've allocated some space for them, some stalls, and I think maybe we maybe work 20-25 horses a year through that program.
That's awesome.
And it's phenomenal. It's great to see the horses. They're enjoying their second careers. They're useful, and it's just the right thing to do.
No doubt about it. Race number 6 begins the $1 pick six. Have you seen the payouts in the pick six the last couple of days? Yesterday's pick six paid in excess of $8,000. Last Sunday, 2 racing days ago, the pick six paid in excess of $10,000 for a $1 investment. And we kick things off in race number 6, bringing 6 furlongs in the main track for $25,000 claimers. Scratch the 1 leaves us with a field of 8. Number 5, Top Gun Tommy, first off the claim for trainer George Papadromo, is the 9-5 morning line favorite. Umberto Rispoli had a good day yesterday. Do you expect him to win here? Or are you looking elsewhere, Tim?
I think there's just a ton of speed in this race if they can lay off. I mean, look, this horse has done nothing wrong basically in its last 7 or 8 races. They claimed it, they dropped it. Maybe they're just in for the quick win.
Sure.
Seems to be a kind of a profile of the owner, which is a great philosophy. I've got a little bit of sleeper here again with the 9 horse. Dirt record of 7 tries, 2 wins, first, second once, third 2 times. Hasn't been on the dirt, came back off a little freshening, or maybe the move from Golden Gate down to Santa Anita, got used to the track here. I think the 9 has a little bit of chance to sneak up in there.
Fair enough. 8-1 on the Little H man, who's number 9 in race number 6. Another question for you, Tim. I'm peppering you with questions.
Yeah.
I feel like we're at a baseball game. How important is pedigree when you're looking overseas to bring runners back to North America? In other words, is it 90%? Is it 50%? Is it more the athlete and the way they move? Like, where does pedigree kind of fit into your methodology?
So pedigree is significant in the sense of we're looking for horses that can handle firm ground. And so not every sire in Europe, you might have this beautiful horse in front of you, structurally may not be right for the firm ground.
You have a database or a knowledge of who the more
just
successful.
the history of what we're doing. We're looking at horses that look, in Europe they train on soft ground, they run on soft ground. Structurally, horses will succeed there that they will not in California. So when we're looking at a horse, we're looking for a sire that can handle some fast ground, a dam that maybe has handled some fast ground, but certainly the horse has to structurally be able to handle training on the dirt. Now we have the Tapeta, so it kind of opens up some other horses for us to bring over. But pedigree matters in the sense of ground, not necessarily sire power.
And Tapeta is a good installation here in Southern California. I think it's going to benefit us not only from an all-weather purpose, but also perhaps with the influx of horses coming down from Golden Gate that might benefit us just in the long run. And what I'm really referring to, Tim, is the overall field size. Because let's face it, if we don't have field size, there's really no significant handle. We need big fields, and I think that's going to be a benefit to the field size.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it was a great investment. I think it's going to pay dividends for the horses. It's going to pay dividends for the population. Average starters. Some horses just won't like it, but those that don't like the dirt but still always have to train off of it, they get little injuries, and if we can get them on a surface that they like, those injuries go away. Those horses stay in training.
Race number 7 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. It also begins the $3 all turf pick 3, and we kick things off for both wagers coming down the Hillside Turf Course. It's a straight allowance race for non-winners of one other than. We've got a field of 9, and look who partially owns number 4 Tiger Hunt, Red Baron's Barn, and Rancho Temescal. Mark Glad is the trainer, 6-1 on the morning line. Frankie Dettori's riding a number of your horses today. Of course, the morning line favorite is number 8, Forgiving Spirit, but we want to hear more about Tiger Hunt, fresh off the victory, now a confident boost up in class, Tim.
Yeah, well, it's the next logical move, and I'm supposed to tell you I love him and all those things, but look, he had the most awesome setup in his last race. 3 horses went blazing out.
But you also had Frankie in the saddle.
Frankie,
that never hurts.
Oh God, no! I love Frankie. He's one of the smarter guys around, and so it's the logical move up. If we get that kind of setup, he could be right there. But I think there's a couple tough horses in here.
Who are you worried about?
I'm worried about the 8 and the 9. I think certainly Forgiving Spirit finished second to Johnny Padres, who came back as a stakes winner. Cali Bay's quality horse, but I think the winner of this race probably would be the 8. The way he's going. And I hope for an improved effort out of Tiger Hunt, and he may surprise me. They all do, one way or the other.
It'll be interesting to see how Cali Bay runs, Tim, your second selection, going from a route to a sprint, but coming down the Hillside Turf Course. The reason why I say that is last time out, Cali Bay emerged victorious and beat a runner by the name of Don't Swear Dave. That race produced 3 next out winners, including the second place finisher, Don't Swear Dave, who earned a 94 Beyer speed figure. So I have a feeling the 87 that Cali Bay earned might be understated. If that's true, Cali Bay has won 3 of his last 4 starts. He could be live with Hector Barrios in the saddle at a morning line of 5-2. A question for you, because you brought it up, Tim. You talked about how intellectual Frankie is as a rider. I think as a handicapper, the more intellectual the rider is on a turf course, the better chances you have of succeeding, simply because racing on the turf is more tactical and more strategic. Would you agree with that assessment?
No doubt. And, for those that don't know, going down the hill, actually the outside stalls are superior. So if you have a horse that you like that's drawn 8 and 9, and they're favorites, and you like them,
it's beneficial.
It's extremely beneficial. The one, the inside draw going down the hill is not where you want to be.
Fair enough. 8 and 9 with a little love to number 4 Tiger Hunt in race number 7. Race number 8 begins the 50.
Don't tell him I wasn't very confident about it.
No one's watching, don't worry. Race number 8 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track for $16,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. We've got a field of 9. Number 5, American Cat, is the lukewarm 7-2 morning line favorite. This seems to be a bit of a grab bag, Tim. Who'd you like and why?
Yeah, it is. And so you want to go back to the jockey. So Frankie's riding a horse for Gus Headley.
That seems a little weird, doesn't it? Right? It kind of jumped off the page.
Right. So I was like,
what story did Gus give Ron Anderson?
It's a good one. It's a good one, whatever it is. And so it was worth it. And I imagine when you see Frankie riding a horse for a trainer that doesn't have the most starts, or something's going on there. So that kind of piqued my interest. Another horse that kind of came out is Fireman Dan. Only because he comes off the layoff in June, runs a decent race coming back, but then they go to Turf Paradise to kind of protect him.
Sure.
And now he's back in at this level. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Usually at this level, you wouldn't travel all the way to Arizona to protect a horse. He hasn't shown particularly great turf form. So that's an interesting little move. And so I'm not sure whether I'm overreading into that one, but that I'm going to watch that horse, see what happens.
That's the thrill of handicapping, isn't it? Trying to solve the puzzle and read between the lines. Sure, we can all look at the racing form and watch replays and watch workouts, but kind of understanding the human element is also part of the jigsaw puzzle as well.
Completely.
Race number 9 is the second stakes race on today's card. It's the Grade 3 Royal Heroine Stakes. Those of us old enough to remember Royal Heroine remember the trainer John Gosden, who's obviously reached international success in his career since that point. But the Royal Heroine is a Grade 3 event for fillies and mares going 1 mile on the turf course. We've got a field of 9. Morning line favorite number 8, Stay and Scam, the speedy Stay and Scam, who just missed last time out going 2 turns, but now 5-2 expectations are she'll be able to get that distance today. You agree?
Again, an old trick is the second time in the mile is a question. So they'll do it the first time. You're not sure about the second time.
You can fool them the first time.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what's going on here? I kind of like Bella Bell here. I think maybe she bounced. Look, she came back off of a break in February, from October to February. She won her race nicely, the megahertz. And then I think, I think maybe she bounced in the Buena Vista.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually my choice in this race.
Let's talk about the bounce factor for a minute. First, I guess it's a 2-part two-part question. Are you a sheets person? In other words, that kind of originate with the sheets. Do you use sheets to evaluate horses?
I don't. I'm not smart enough to read the sheets.
Me neither, so don't feel bad. But you do believe as an owner, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, you do believe that horses react negatively to kind of maybe a maximum effort first time off the layoff.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll see that a lot in the European horses, depending on when they arrive, as to if they'll bounce or not. If they get off the plane, run right away.
Do you have a philosophy one way or the other? Do you like to run them off the plane, or do you kind of like the individual horse?
I love to run them off the plane. There's a theory about all the oxygenation from the trip. It's kind of like a booster. But I think if you can get them right off the plane, boom, 7 days, 7 to 10 days,
Sure.
It's nice. If not, I think you need to wait about a month.
I know you've had a few starters at Del Mar where you ran them off the plane. There were no workout lines showing, which is unusual for most of the invaders, but I know that your barn had a few of those runners the last couple summers at Del Mar that fit that profile.
Yeah, and it also depends on the relationship you have with the trainer overseas. So if you're buying them privately, you have an opportunity to talk to the trainer, work out a deal, and say, hey, look, I'm going to keep you. I want you to keep this horse in training. This is the race. This is what we want you to do. When you buy them at auction, again, depending on when you bring them over, the horses in training sale, we basically just bring them over. This filly in particular that we bought in Tattersall's, she'll stay in training over there. We'll get her ready for the mile at Del Mar. And so just depends on the nuances of who you're dealing with and how you buy them.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at race number 10. Begins the $1 golden hour pick four wager, linking our last two races here with the last two races at Golden Gate. One of those last two races at Golden Gate is the graded stakes race, the San Francisco Mile. But we kick things off here at San Anita in race 10, going 1 mile on the main track for allowance optional claimers, non-winners of one other than. Scratch the two also eligibles. 11 and 12 will not compete. Take note number 2, St. Elmo is a first-time gelding. Leaves us with a field of 10. Here's another runner that you have, number 6, Ultimate Gamble, who you paid a fortune for at auction. Let's first talk about that transaction. This is a half to DeFrong, who's the Breeders' Cup Sprint winner, also won the King's Bishop at Saratoga, obviously has a lot of ability, but now we haven't seen him in almost a year, April 30th of last year. How's he coming into the race? We're going to watch in a minute, but how's he coming into the race?
He's doing great. He's just when you see him, he's just a stout, solid, beautiful horse, and really excited about him running today.
You should be. He lost to the Cave Rock in his debut, and of course then finished, actually won going 2 turns at San Anita this time last year, and the last time off finished a good second. But rather than talking about it, Tim, let's watch the workout for Ultimate Gamble. It was a team drill back on April 12th. It was 6 furlongs. Let's roll the tape here, and Ultimate Gamble is going to be in the red. The exercise rider is going to be wearing the red cap and going to be on the outside here. This, in my opinion, at least from a visual standpoint and even from a time standpoint, is exactly what you want to see for a runner coming back off a long layoff. What did you think of this workout?
It was great. Mark doesn't work his horses very fast. We're just getting him conditioned, and he's a pretty athletic horse, so you don't need to put speed into him. You just need to get enough air in him.
And speaking of air, 3 consecutive 6 furlong workouts. It sure seems like he's going to come back into this race fit, ready to fire, and you get Frankie back in the saddle.
Yeah, Frankie, it was funny when Frankie rode him last, he goes, boy, this is going to be a great 4-year-old. And so I didn't know that we had to wait one more a year to get him to be at the 4-year-old, not to get him on him. But we're excited about him. He's a 2-turn horse, classic distance kind of horse. And, his half brother is a sire in Japan. And so if we can keep him going and do some wonderful things with him, I think he's got some great upside.
As we're watching the continuation of the workout, this race did come up tough, though. This is no layup. I mean, there are some hard knocking runners in here. Who are you most fearful of?
Foston. I think
second off the layoff.
Yeah, I think he's the other tough horse in here. They're all good horses, but I would expect to see those two at the finish line.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at the nightcap. Race number 11 closes out the day, and it offers $5 golden hour daily double wagering. We're going 1.125 miles on the turf course for maiden special weight filly mares. Scratch the 7 criticism, leaves us with a field of 9. The morning line favorite, again, lukewarm on the bottom. 1 of 2 trained in here by Simon Callahan. Number 10, Runyon Canyon, at 7-2. But lo and behold, look who has a horse in here. Number 2, Kelly's Out, from your new partnership group, Tim, trained by Jeff Mellon. She's a 4-year-old, one of a few 4-year-olds in the field. Before we get your thoughts on the race, let's watch the latest race for Kelly's Out. It was back on April 5th. It was the very first race. You're going to watch a couple of runners in this replay that are running in today's field, including number 5, Irish Rose. They're going to be easy to spot because Irish Rose is going to go off to a big lead. Meanwhile, Kelly's Out is going to be trailing the field and then put in a late run. So let's listen to Frank Miramite describe the action back on on April 5th, and keep our eyes on Kelly's Out, who's breaking from post position number 3, and Irish Rose, who's breaking from post position number 4.
Irish Rose coming forward. And bolts broad to the outside. In the gate. And they're off. No, 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 never. And Den of Iniquity. Irish Rose joins them and is up to take the lead as they pass the stands. Then it's Bolts Broad. Kelly's Out is at the back, some 7 lengths off front running Irish Rose, who establishes the pace and leads it by 2. Bolts Broad is in second. Den of Iniquity is down at the rail in third. No, 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 never is fourth, 5 lengths off the lead. And Kelly's Out at the back of the field. Irish Rose could not have gotten an easier lead. Speed's clear to be in front by 3.5 lengths. Bolts Broad takes second. Den of Iniquity is down at the rail. Then it's No, 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 Never, 4th and 5 off them, 2 clear of Kelly's Out. Straightening away for the run down the backstretch. Irish Rose relaxed on the front end. Fresu just took a peek back and leads by 1.5 lengths. Bolts Broad, Den of Iniquity, 3rd. No, 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 Never, 4th. 5 lengths off the lead, and Kelly's Out has trailed throughout. Irish Rose takes them into the far turn with a 2-length edge. Bolts Broad, Den of Iniquity called on down at the rail. Those two on even terms, 2nd and 3rd. No, 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 Never has 6 to make up, and Kelly's Out continues to trail. They're 1/4 mile from home, and it's Irish Rose 1.5 lengths. Bolts Broad set down. Den of Iniquity, No, 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 Never starts to pick it up a bit. They're coming to the 8th pole, and Irish Rose trying to fend them off. No, 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 Never becoming the late threat on the outside, and Bolts Broad in between them. Here's No, 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 Never coming swiftly now in the final stages between horses. Bolts Broad, No, 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 Never gets it by a 1/2 length. Bolts Broad second. Kelly's Out rallied strongly to be in a photo. And Irish Rose followed by Den of Iniquity.
A little bit green there. That was just her 3rd start in North America. You purchased her in Ireland, but of course you expect further improvement today. Mike Smith in the saddle. Looks like she's got a nice late kick.
Yeah, she does, and it's great to have another Hall of Famer on your horse. So Mikey said, look, she's just still green.
And you get some extra distance. 1 1/8 today probably will help.
It'll fit right in. Distance wise, won't be a problem. She's had a little bit of trouble taking the turns, kind of like we talked about with horses in Europe. When we bought her, she was running in Ireland, basically had a novice rider on her. So we thought, well, this is going to be kind of interesting. If we can get go from novice to Mike Smith, we should be able to get a little bit of improvement. But we found out it's more the horse than the jockey. So she's still green, but if she figures it out, she'll be right there.
2 and 4 to close it out in race number 11 for our seminar guest today, Tim Cohen. If you want to get involved in his new partnership, you can send Tim an email. It's info@ranchotemescal.com. You'll definitely want to get involved with his partnership because it's a lot of fun. And as you've listened for the last 40 minutes, he certainly takes this business seriously and travels around the world trying to find successful runners here in Southern California. One more wager to talk about before we get off air, and that's the Coast to Coast Pick 5. The new wager. Have you seen those payouts? They've been astronomical, averaging around $10,000. It's a $1 minimum with a low 15% takeout. Today's 5-race sequence begins with San Anita Race 4. Post time for that is 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Tim, I can't thank you enough for your time and insight today. I want to wish you not only luck today, but of course going forward. And thanks so much for your investment in the Southern California racing industry. It means a lot, not only to me, but everybody involved in the industry.
Thank you much.
Thanks to you as well. Hope you enjoyed the seminar. We'll do it all again tomorrow, 11:50 a.m. Pacific time. Enjoy the afternoon, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf firm. Rail on the turf at 0 feet. Here are the changes. No changes in race 1. In the second, number 5, Eagles Dare, 2 pounds over. No scratches or jockey changes in the third. None in the fourth either, which is the Kona Gold Stakes. In the fifth race, we have a middle pick 4 on races 5, 6, 7, and 8. There are no changes. Race 6 starts the $1 pick 6, scratch number 1, Johnny Drama. In the seventh race, we begin the $3 all-turf pick 3, as well as the 50-cent late pick 5. No scratches or jockey changes. Eighth race, we have a blinker note. The ninth is the Royal Heroine, and there are no changes. 10th race kicks off the golden hour pick 4. Scratch the also eligibles 11 and 12. And race 11 begins the golden hour double. Scratch number 7, criticism. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. Plenty of activities in the infield. It's family fun weekend. And we have the Coast to Coast Pick 5. It starts today right here at Santa Anita Park with our 4th race at 2:30, just about 2 hours away. 15% player-friendly takeout, $1 minimum wager. It's the Coast to Coast Pick 5, combining races from Santa Anita Park and Gulfstream, offered every Saturday and Sunday.
Hello, I'm Millie Ball from the First Bet studio with a preview of the San Francisco Mile. It's the signature race at Golden Gate Fields this coming Saturday, Grade 3, and the purse of $175,000 has drawn 7 horses to ship from Southern California to race here in Northern California. The field, Alamas in post position number 2. The race could set up for this horse. He's been remarkably consistent gelding. Last year's winners in here, that's Belnikoff for Phil D'Amato. And there should be a little bit more pace than we saw from last year with Air Force Red and Clovis Connection in there, who's been beautifully campaigned by Blaine Wright. I mentioned Air Force Red. Let's go back and watch his last start because his trainer, Leonard Powell, was extremely pleased with this performance. He's the bay in the center of the field right now with the big white blaze on him, right? He loves to go to the front. He's got a lot of natural speed. That's what he does, but he has to work pretty hard into that first turn because Genius Jimmy's holding his position. Once he gets the lead, he goes 44-4 for the half, 108. And here he is still in front, right? He's going to get passed late by Johannes, who's a very talented horse. War at Sea ran second in this race. He won the Grade 3 Golden Gate Handicap last year. So he's running against some really good horses and was able to hold on well. I don't think he's going to have to go that fast that early. I like Air Force Red.
And they're off.
Prime plays for Saturday at Santa Anita. We'll start things off in the second race with a Prime plays for Saturday at Santa Anita. We'll start things off in the second race with a 5 1/2 furlong maiden special weight sprint on the dirt for California breds. Field of 6. There is a stone runner in this race. Number 1, Our Bucky Charm. First time starter from the Mike Pipey barn, son of Munnings. Boy, has he really been impressive in the morning. Take a look at this work here not too long ago. This was a 5/8 work in 59-3, and he is absolutely under cruise control through the lane. You can see him just breathing, the big chestnut with the blazed face, able to go considerably faster if permitted. And this tells me that Our Bucky Charm is absolutely fit and ready. Use him as a rolling exotic single. Number 1, Our Bucky Charm, our prime play in the second race on Saturday. Jump ahead of the 11th race now. We'd like a filly named Sunset Glory in here. This is a 1 1/8 maiden special weight on grass for older fillies and mares. Sunset Glory has not been out since the fall of 2022. She had a run here at Santa Anita and finished second in that race and was much the best. She was very wide every step of the way, kept to her task, and finished well to be second. Now, she hasn't been out in 18 months, but she looks like she's training well enough for Michael McCarthy to be fit and ready. And if she is fit and ready, she's going to beat this field. So let's go with number 4, Sunset Glory, 4-1 on the morning line. That's a prime play in the 11th and final on Saturday at Santa Anita.
13 minutes to post. And on behalf of everyone here at First Racing, we'd like to welcome you to a beautiful Saturday here at the Great Race Place. Hi, everybody. Peter Lurie here alongside my partner in crime, Miss Millie Ball. And Millie, it's a good 11 race card.
Yeah.
It's contentious. I got my bets in. I'm ready to cash some tickets, but we got to get right to it. We've got a work that I know you are kind of excited about.
Yes.
It's courtesy of our partners over at XBTV, and it concerns the 3-horse Hot Legs Romolo for trainer Ben Cecil.
I'm hoping that we get 5-1 on Hot Legs Romolo. This is a 5-year-old gelding who is working here. And you can see on the inside, Hot Legs Romolo, the rider who happens to be Mario Gutierrez, who rides Hot Legs Romolo in the afternoon, is just almost standing up. That's how easy this gelding is working. And the partner dragging behind there, Mario just kind of coasts by the wire, but look at the time that he does it in. I thought that was a really